Hi beautifuls, it's Mandy. Today we are going to be talking all about foundation. I know a lot of people don't know where to start with foundation, what to look for, how to match themselves, and so I kind of just wanted to go over some of the very basics of foundation today. So if you guys want to see how I do my foundation every day and get some foundation tips, keep watching. So the very first tip I have for you how to start your routine out is you want to make sure that you have clean, hydrated skin. So make sure that you wash your face, you wash your hands, everything's clean, so you're working with as little amount of germs and dirt as possible because you want to have the best skin possible for your foundation to sit on. So let's talk about moisturizers first. Two that I particularly enjoy, that I've enjoyed when I've had oily skin, and now that I feel like I'm more kind of a normal skin, and my sister with dry skin as well, I'm kind of getting all perspectives here. I really prefer a gel moisturizer over a cream. Of course, any that you prefer works for you. If you're drier, sometimes you want something a little thicker. Like my sister really likes the Kiehl's Ultra Facial Cream, and that's just a little bit too much for me personally, but it's really good for those of you with dry skin. But these two I find really work for everybody, all kinds of skin types. I have the Tarte Drink of H2O Hydrating Boost moisturizer. This is just a little small size that I have, that I travel with. It is a gel moisturizer. It's just kind of a clear looking. I really like that one. It's a little bit on the pricier side. I want to say it's like $24, $26. You can find this at Ulta or Sephora. I got mine at Sephora. Or if you are a bargain babe like myself, I do a lot of drugstore makeup shopping. I really like the Garnier SkinActive Moisture Rescue Refreshing Gel Cream. It says normally combo on here, but my sister, even with dry skin, really enjoyed this. In the winter, she gets dry under her eyes, like flaky almost. And this is the only moisturizer that she found that can really hydrate that and handle that under eye area for her in the winter. So I really like this for all skin types as well. Again, it's kind of just like a gel moisturizer. I want to say this one is around $12. They carry it at Target or Walmart or like CVS, whatever you guys have near you. Next, like as I kind of talked about in moisturizer, you kind of want to know your skin type for buying foundation. You want to know, am I oily? Am I combination? Am I dry? Am I just normal? Like what kind of skin type do you have? So me personally, at this point in time, my skin is, I would consider it normal because I'm not oily, but I don't have any dry patches. So that is what I would consider a normal skin. That is pretty much, you can use anything on it. Oily is going to be like your T-zone area here, like your nose and your chin, forehead, that kind of area get really oily, like you feel like you need to blot a lot, or that's where makeup breaks on you a lot, you're probably oily. Dry would be if you're flaking, you know, under the eyes. Some people get the cheek area, right around the mouth, like anything that's, you know, feeling flaky, like you need that extra moisturizer, that's gonna be a dry skin type. So that's really gonna help you pick your foundation and your primer and also your moisturizer. So know your skin. After moisturizer, you are gonna wanna start with a primer. Primer is going to hold your foundation on where you put it. It's gonna make it last longer. It's gonna fill those pores, either mattify or luminize your face, whichever you are looking for. It's really just going to give your foundation that extra oomph. So for primer, again, it's going to be like based on your skin type, based on what kind of look you're going for, what you want to use. So for dry skin, looking for a primer, two that I would suggest, I always want to give you guys a high-end option and a drugstore option because I know some of us are bargain babes. So for high-end, I would go for something like the Benefit POREfessionals. And if you are a bargain babe, go for something like the Maybelline Baby Skin. That is going to be very comparable to the Benefit POREfessional. It's going to be a little bit cheaper. I think the POREfessional, I want to say, is around $20, somewhere in there. And Baby Skin is more like $6. Again, I'll put prices and links down there for you in the description bar, but like I said, I don't have either of those on me because I don't personally use them. But for that dry skin type, that's going to be kind of something you want to lean towards. For both skin types, you know, if you're in between dry and oily, you're normal or you are combination, you're going to want to go with something. If you're looking for luminous or mattifying, you can really use both because you're not going to have that sort of reaction that you get from dry or from oily skin from anything. So if you want to go with more luminizing primer, something that's going to brighten your face, give you that real good summer glow, I really highly suggest the L'Oreal Lumi primer. It's in a little tall white bottle. It's called Magic Lumi, I believe. I love that one personally. It gives you that bright like glow, that pop that's going to shine through your makeup. I love it so much that it is completely on right now. Otherwise, if you are looking for like just a nice mattifying primer, for a higher end one, what I would suggest for a combination type of skin, I really like this as well as my sister, is the Too Faced Hangover primer. It just really kind of gives you that fresh feeling to your face. So next we are going to get to oily skin. Again, why do I not have anything that I want to show you in my hands? I don't know. I'm really sorry, you guys. So for oily, my favorite one at the drugstore that I have found, I don't have it with me because again, it's one of those that I am obsessed with, can't stop using, and I'm out at the moment, is the Stay Matte Primer from Revlon. And I love that one. I have searched everywhere, up and down the drugstore, to find a really good mattifying primer, and that is the best one that I have found. And then going to the high end of things, there are a couple I want to point out for you here. Is this one I have just been trying out. I have a small size of the Murad Invisiblur Perfecting Shield. This has 30 SPF, treats, blurs, and protects. It's not technically called a primer. It is what I have been using for primer. It really, really does blur the pores. It works similar to the POREfessionals, but it does not have that silicone in it, so it's not like POREfessionals has always felt like slippery on me, like I feel like my makeup slides off, whereas this one is like really super mattifying but also hides those pores, and it doesn't have that silicone, so it's not slipping and sliding all over the place on me. I really feel like it holds everything in place and my makeup is going to stay where it is put. And then I wanted to mention one more high-end primer for oily skin. This one was a lifesaver back when my nose area used to be super, super oily. This is the Becca EverMatte Poreless Priming Perfector. This one is super intense for a primer. So unless you are a super, super oily person, you do not want to use this primer. And you do not want to use this primer all over your face, because let me tell you, it will make your makeup do weird things if you put it all over. But if you're someone that's super oily in your T-zone, this is a really amazing product for that. And put it between your fingers like this and work it in between your fingers just to lighten it up, warm it up, get it working really good, and then dab right around the nose area in the T-zone and just pat. Don't use a rubbing motion, because if you use like a rubbing motion like you would a moisturizer, it's not going to work for you. But you just tap it on your skin like that and it soaks the absolute shit out of your oily skin. Like, it is going to hold your makeup there, it is going to keep that oil away, and it's a miracle product for oily skin, I will tell you that. Now we're going to talk about picking a foundation. When you go to pick a foundation, you want to know what your color is, what your undertones are, and if you can, if you're shopping high-end, get samples. Always get samples before you purchase something. I mean, even if you purchase something at Sephora or Ulta and you end up not liking it, They will let you bring it back even if it's used, even without a receipt. They're very, very good about that. You might get in-store credit or you'll get your money back either way. But my suggestion is highly, highly, highly to get samples. Because no offense Sephora and Ulta girls, but I have been matched so many times by some of you and have not gotten the right color. First of all, know your skin type, know if you're dry, oily, combo, know what you're looking for, and then know your undertones. To know your undertones, the best tip that I have learned is by looking at the veins on your wrist or wherever you can see yours best. Mine are best on my wrist here. So your vein colors are either going to be, if you're a warm tone person, you're gonna have like a purplish blue color. They're gonna be blue but lean towards purple. That means you're going to be a warm tone, a warm undertone. You are going to be a neutral undertone if your veins are blue, blue-green. You're gonna have that hint of green in there. That is where I am. I am neutral. I have those bluish green veins on my wrist. If you are a cool tone babe, you are going to be very blue, almost have that, I don't want to say grayish, but kind of like a taupe-ish tint. You're not going to see any purple, you're not going to see any green. It's going to be more blue, a little bit to the weirdish gray side. That is going to be cool toned. If that doesn't work for you, if you're like, shit man, I can't fucking tell by looking at these veins, go to a makeup store, look for a line that has warm, neutral, and cool undertone products. You'll probably see an N, a W, and a C. Test one of each on your wrist, and whichever one, like this area on your wrist here, whichever one looks closely to your skin tone is going to be your undertone. Like if I tested a warm shade on my wrist, it's going to look super orange. If I test a cool shade on my wrist, it's gonna look super pink on me. But neutral works perfect. The best places to swatch makeup when you're in the store is going to be, I always do on my wrist here. This is like the super whitest part of your wrist. Your jawline. If I go into a makeup store, I usually have makeup on, so the jawline isn't the best for me. That's why I use my wrist. Or use your chest, because this is one of your whitest areas of your body. You can always bronze the chest too. But those are the three best places to test your real color. Next, when you're looking at a foundation, you are going to want to pick the finish that you want. Do you want a matte foundation that is going to really have no shine whatsoever? It is going to just be flat, clean, like the best way I can describe it is there's no shine whatsoever. Do you want it to be dewy where you have that super glow, like summertime brightness, a luminosity to it? Or there are just the natural finish as well that's kind of right in between there. And every product is going to have that label on there, what kind of finish it's gonna be. And then lastly, you are going to want to decide what kind of coverage you want. Are you a full coverage bitch? Like, I've got a lot of redness. I don't have a lot of acne anymore, but I have a lot of redness from previous acne that I like to cover up. So I am a full coverage ass bitch. I want that stuff to not show through whatsoever. If you want more of like a light coverage that are gonna let your skin show through a little bit, it's gonna be a light coverage. Or there is kind of that medium coverage where you can build it up to full, but you could just put one layer on and you can see your skin through it just a little bit, so it looks really natural, really pretty, but it's still gonna give you some coverage. So you wanna decide those things as well. Let me show you a couple of my favorite foundations and then we will talk about application. For my oily skin girls out there, I'm going to show you a couple that I personally have found that I like, that work really well for me. We're gonna do high-end and then drugstore next, okay? High-end, drugstore. So for high-end ones, I really like the Urban Decay All Nighter. This is a waterproof long wear liquid foundation. It's full coverage, matte finish. All of that information is right here on the bottom. I don't use this one a ton because I have the wrong shade. Thank you, Sephora girl, for matching me wrong. And then finally I figured out how to match myself. But this one is going to be really full coverage. It's going to give you that matte finish. It's going to cover everything and just make you look flawless. It's really good for days that you're taking pictures, you're going out, you want everything to look flawless. This is a really great long wearing foundation for that. For our drugstore option, our more affordable option, L'Oreal is slaying the game for me on all wavelengths. The 24-hour foundation, the Infallible Total Coverage. This is a full coverage foundation, weightless feel. I am in the shade 302 Creamy Natural. This is, I think, $11.99, I want to say, $11 or $12. It is the most full coverage foundation I have ever found at the drugstore. It covers absolutely everything. It's a beautiful matte finish. I have gone through tubes and tubes of this and I can't get over it. Let's go to Combo Skin. Dry, oily, in between. This one will pretty much work for everybody. I don't have a high-end one to show you guys because I am still on the hunt for that, but I do have a drugstore one that I'd like to mention. It is the one I have on my face at the moment. It is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Healthy Luminous Makeup, Broad Spectrum SPF 20, and I am in the shade N12 Soft Ivory - Classic Ivory. This one comes in a really beautiful pump bottle. I lost the fucking lid. I don't know where it is, but I'm just really getting into this one because it gives you that really beautiful luminous finish, but it doesn't feel oily. I really feel like everybody can use this. And the original True Match formula is amazing as well. Like I said, I'm not as oily now as I used to be, so I would definitely probably go for the original True Match if I was more on the oily side. But this one is a really beautiful finish, especially if you are looking to find your undertone. The True Match has an amazing variety of shades. It has neutral, it has warm, it has cool, and it's super easy to find what your shade is. And it's just a really great one for beginners, I would say, or even for, you know, experienced. Well, lastly, we are going to talk about our dry girls. And not saying that these are foundations that you couldn't use with any other skin type, but I would not suggest them with oily. But these are really great ones that my sister has loved. Like I said, I'm not a dry person, but she is. And these are ones that she loves and uses all the time. For the high-end one, I have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Porcelain Stick Foundation. So of course she's like literally the lightest shade and she's used almost all of it. Like, look at that, it's almost gone. But this is an amazing stick foundation that really gives her that awesome natural finish. Really good coverage, but not heavy weight. And it really is more of a moisturizing foundation that isn't going to make you look super sucked dry. And this one I want to say is really affordable for a high-end foundation. Usually high-end foundations are between $30 and $40, sometimes more. This one I believe is $20, $25, somewhere in there. For our drugstore, again, L'Oreal is slaying the game for the third time for me. It is the L'Oreal 24-hour foundation in the Infallible Pro Glow. So this one, again, is from the similar line, the Infallible, and they have a matte one that's really good for oily skin as well. This entire line, the Infallible, it kills it. For drugstore foundations, they are amazing. They're worth the money. You know, that $11, it's gonna last you a while. It's amazing coverage. I just love these foundations. I can go on and on about L'Oreal. Anyway, she really loves this one, but her tip with this one is not to apply this one with a beauty blender first. She applies this with a brush and then dabs it in with her beauty blender because she said she kind of just gets a weird finish with it if she uses her beauty blender to completely put it on. So she uses a brush, is her tip, just to throw that out there. But again, I think this foundation is around $11. It's an amazing looking foundation that gives you that radiant glow those dry skin girls are looking for. And again, normal is where I'm at right now. This is gonna work for those girls as well. Okay, so now that we have decided on what foundation we are going to use, let's talk about applying foundation. The best tool in the game is going to be the Beauty Blender. Now, if you don't know what a Beauty Blender is, it is a sponge that you wet. Looks kind of like a teardrop form. I'm going to show you a couple different ones here, and then we'll talk about brushes. So this is the original Beauty Blender. It is not wet, it's very dirty. This is Andrea's. This retails at Sephora for, I want to say, $26. You wet this, it expands, you dip it in your makeup, or you can put your makeup on your face, and then you want to dab this in to blend your makeup out. Don't rub, swipe, whatever. You want to dab to really push that makeup into the skin and give you that flawless coverage. So this one's great, but I'm just saying I have cheaper favorites. So that is the original Beauty Blender. It's dry size. Another really good one is the Real Techniques blending sponge. It is an orange one, same kind of point at the bottom, but it has this flat edge as well. I want to say this one is around $9 at the drugstore. This expands huge, like much bigger than, again, this is dry, but much bigger than the Beauty Blender. The flat side's really nice for baking under the eyes or the face. This one is really good as well. Again, not my favorite, but one of the best. And my favorite and the cheapest option I have found is a brand called Therapeutics. I have found it at Kohl's, and you can buy them in a double set for $6. It's the same shape as the Beauty Blender. Again, this is wet, but this is how much bigger it gets. It's a little bit softer than the Beauty Blender, but also more densely packed, I feel like. This is my favorite one to use. It's the cheapest option, $6 at your Kohl's, and a lot of the times they have a sale on this one. I don't know, this one just has the best texture, I feel like, and it's the cheapest option, so why not? So those are a couple of really good options. Get yourself one of these because it is going to be magically life-changing if you've never used one. You'll never go back to anything else. But if you are that girl that likes to use a brush, or you find that your foundation works better with the brush, one of my favorite, you're gonna wanna use like a kabuki type brush. You're gonna want like flat, densely packed. The one I really like if I'm doing foundation with a brush, which I always go over it with the Beauty Blender anyway, so I prefer a Beauty Blender, but if you prefer a brush, the Morphe M439 is a really great one. It is a little bit rounded on the top, but it's very densely packed. These bristles, I use this on half of my face today. It spreads the foundation really well, gives you that really good coverage. Like I said, just to give it that really beautiful finish, I go over it with the Beauty Blender. But this is an amazing brush. I want to say it's like $7 or so on Morphe.com, so if you need a brush, try this one out. Start light, add coverage, you can always build it. And then make sure that you are blending onto your neck, sometimes even your chest if you're not going to bronze. Like right now I have not bronzed my neck yet, but blend onto the neck so it doesn't look like you're wearing a mask, and even blend onto the ears so that everything looks flawless, real. It doesn't look like you're wearing a mask, because nobody wants to look like that. Nobody wants those comments like, hey girl, you got a line. So blend your foundation down, girl. Blend it down. So whether you're using a brush or Beauty Blender, clean that thing religiously. I know that I am notorious for not, but that is going to be one of the best things to keep your skin clean, to make your tools perform their best, etc. So clean them every day. If you don't have a special brush cleaner, Dawn dish soap, hand soap, works perfectly fine. Get it wet, scrub the makeup out of there, squeeze it out of there, let them sit out to dry overnight. Do it as often as possible. You should do it every use, but like I said, some of us notorious for not, but clean it as often as you possibly can. All right, so next you're going to probably want to conceal under your eyes. Of course, skip this step if you want to, but I like to have my under eyes brightened, sometimes even down the bridge of my nose. The best concealer in the world is the Tarte Shape Tape. It took me so long to get my hands on this, but I'm absolutely in love. I bought 2 as soon as I found it. I am fair neutral. I want to say this is around $17, $18. I could be wrong. I'll put it in the description. But this is such a beautiful concealer. It blends out amazing. It feels very lightweight. The applicator is like massive. It's so great. I love this one. Or if you were looking for a drugstore one, the Maybelline Fit Me concealer is a really great one. With concealer, you want to make sure that your concealer is lighter than your foundation. Otherwise, there's no point in concealing your eyes. I'm just saying. You want to hide those dark circles. You want to make everything balance out and look awake. So make sure that you are picking a concealer that is lighter than your foundation. So next we are going to be setting everything with powder. Again, I use a lighter powder under my eyes than I do for the rest of my face. Just to, like I said, brighten everything up, make you look awake, hide the dark circles. Lately, I have been using the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Medium Plus. Looks like that. It's dirty as all hell. I want to say it was around $30. I have been using this one because I like that added coverage. It's not too thick of a feeling powder, but it gives you that just added oomph of coverage over top of your foundation. But if you are looking for something that's just gonna set your makeup how it is, make it stay really nice, not give you any flashback, that kind of thing, the Laura Mercier setting powder is a really great one. You can find at Sephora. I want to say the large size is like $36. Or if you are a bargain babe, the Coty Airspun is a huge container. I think it's like $9, but it's a huge container about like that big in the translucent color. Or the NYX HD powder is a really good one as well. My sister loves that one. I apologize. So we were talking about setting sprays right when my camera died. I'm just gonna show you a couple. For illuminating setting spray, I really have been loving the Tarte Ready Set Radiant. It's in a purple bottle like this. I want to say this was around $26 at Sephora. It's a really amazing one. I love how it feels. It smells like cucumbers. It's amazing. And last but not least is the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus. I really, really, really want to try the coconut one, but this is a beautiful one. It's my fucking empty one, so obviously I love it. That one I think is like $24. Again, you can only find that one at MAC, so you might have to order that one. But it is beautiful, love the finish, and it really, really holds everything in place. The Urban Decay All Nighter is an amazing one as well. I don't have any on me, but I have gone through bottles of that. As for drugstore, more affordable ones, the L'Oreal Infallible, again, is a really great one. Or NYX has a mattifying one or a dewy one, so those are good choices as well. So I think that is the last thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to foundation. That is all for my rant about foundation. I hope you guys learned some stuff today. I hope that you enjoyed the video and want to share it with your friends, want to use the tips I gave you. Just join my awesome family, subscribe, and I will see you guys next week. I love you.